In this activity, we will add a certificate through the builder and then create a simple process to show how it can be used. You will need your activity guide, and I would encourage you to take a few moments to work through the steps in the guide and then come back and join me to review the activity together. So the first thing we want to do is jump into the platform and get ourselves a little bit organized. Step one was asking you to simply create a folder named ARC3 and then within it 2-operational management for the module that we are currently working on. The next step was to create a new component, and there are two ways to do that. You can click on the new button here and then navigate to your folder when you create your new component, or you can also click on the folder where you want it created and click New Component. And for the component type, we want to select Certificate. And for name, we can give it any kind of a name. And we're going to use a certificate type of PGP. Then we click the Create button to create the certificate. And you will see that your screen will change so that you are now looking at the certificate object. Now at this point, you could import a certificate that you have received from a data source, or you can have Boomi generate one for you. And so we're going to click Generate. So you can enter any value you want for identity and any value you want for passphrase as well, but you will need to remember this value. And you can keep the key algorithm and key length at their default values and then click Finish. And this page now displays the properties of the certificate that you have just built. And we can click Save and Close here. The next part of the exercise begins on page 4, and we will build a very simple encryption example. So we do have some limitations in class because we don't have true endpoints that we can connect to, but our process will simply grab some data, encrypt it, and then decrypt it, and we'll be able to follow that document along to see how it's impacted by this encryption process. So first things first, let's create a new process inside our folder. We'll call this encrypt and decrypt text. And click create. When we create it, we're going to give it a no data start shape and click OK. And drag a message shape onto the canvas with a short message display name saying text to encrypt. And we're going to enter some simple text in the message box and click OK. And add a stop shape way over there to the end as well. And so from here, what we will do is add two data process shapes, one that will encrypt our data and one to decrypt our data. So let's drag this onto the canvas. And we'll give it the display name of encrypt. We're going to select PGP encrypt and choose the certificate that we just created. And then click OK. And we're going to add a second data process shape. And this will be decrypt. And we will select from the process type PGP decrypt. And we'll select our certificate again that we created. And then click OK. And let's connect all these shapes. And test our process. And now what we should be able to see is our data getting encrypted and then decrypted. So this is where our data was created. So if we click on the encrypt shape, we should find our input data. This is then encrypted and sent over to the decrypt shape. And so from here, if we click on view source, you will see that this is the encrypted message. We can close that. And then lastly, this is decrypted here in this step and passed along. So back in the stop shape, if we click on the file view, we get back to our original message. And that's the end of the activity for creating a certificate and using it in a simple process.